Welcome to the Same Day Podcast, where we discuss driving incremental business growth and other topics related to real estate, property management, and entrepreneurship. Now to the show at hand.
Matt Zalk here, host of the Same Day Podcast, where I connect with top business experts and real estate leaders. Today's episode is brought to you by Keyrenter Property Management. At Keyrenter Property Management, we are a full-service property management company helping our clients buy, renovate, and operate real estate assets. We help our clients build wealth while taking the headache out of property management. And part of taking that headache out of property management includes lining up contractors to get make-readies done in a reasonable amount of time after a tenant leaves a property, or as you'll see today, after there's a need for a significant insurance claim. The challenge is that contractors are busy, the work seems to drag on forever, and all of that leads to lost rental income. But at Keyrenter, we line up our dedicated vendors so that turns can happen super quickly and we get more money back into the pockets of our owners. You're going to hear much more about that today with AllCity adjusting. But anyways, that's why no matter what rental you have, a single family home, condo, townhome, apartment, we have the management solutions that you need. Go to keyrenterpmc.com or email us at info@keyrenterpmc.com. Andy Gurczak is the founder of AllCity Adjusting, a licensed public adjusting firm with a focus on making sure their clients get what they truly deserve from their insurance claims. Over the last decade, Andy's not only protected thousands of people from being defrauded, but he's also helped them receive more money than what they can or what their insurance initially offered, what they can do on their own, I should say, or what their insurance initially offered. Andy grew up with the family motto, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all, a sentiment that he now carries into his business. Find out more about Andy at allcityadjusting.com.
Hey, Matt.
Andy Gurczak.
What's up, dude? Got your workout in? Got everything in?
I've been up since 4 a.m.
I like you. I like that.
I am normally up at like 5:30, but I got back from Israel Tuesday night and I'm just like totally jet lagged still. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to go to bed like 10 o'clock, get up at 5:30. It does not work that way. My brain just kicks on at 4 o'clock and it's like, you're done. Let's go. So
that time change. I know.
It's a lot.
Cool.
It's a lot.
My stuff's okay. Here, let me see something. Actually, I was gonna actually pulled up some jobs that I thought I could share this with you.
What a stud, dude! You're such a stud. Look at you in a jacket and a black shirt.
Dude, I'm coming on Matt Zach's Keyrenter podcast, man. What do you expect? Come on, man. I just pulled this on special occasions.
That's funny. That's funny.
Let me see something really quick. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna. This is acting funny.
And I'd like to publicly thank you for switching this podcast around. I didn't book when I book spring break, when I book long blocks on my calendar, it just defaults to free. So then people can book over it. I was out there skiing with my kids, which is such a joy. And
where'd you guys ski?
At Buttermilk in Aspen.
Oh, okay. We haven't been to Aspen. We went to Keystone and Breckenridge.
Buttermilk. Aspen's great because kids under 6 ski free. It's still a family experience. Unlike all these Vail Mountain Corp resorts where they just literally eke every penny out of you. Aspen's still it's expensive. It's super expensive to get there. It's super expensive to stay. But if you are on the mountain, under 5 is free. The Bunny Hill's free. There's stuff that you go in and they give you free water and they give you free stuff. It's still like a family environment. It's not like such a blood-sucking corporation that they want to extract every single penny. So, for example, in Vail, when you go to rent skis, they say thanks for your $90 a day for skis. If you want to put your boots here, you've got to pay for a locker. It's like I'm not paying for a locker. How about this? If my boots aren't here when I get back, I'm going to hurt somebody. But in Aspen, it's like, here's a locker. Here's like a whole bunch of cubbies. Put your stuff in it. No problem. Do you need a charger for your phone? Here's a charger for your phone. They're just not, it's a company. They're there to make money. I get it. But they're not.
I just came back from Disney. You want to talk about you want to talk about blood sucking?
Oh my God. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
It's Six Flags with a freaking mouse running around. I mean, holy smokes. I did it. I told myself we wanted to do it once. We took the kids. I'm done. Never. Great experience, but wouldn't.
I don't even have you been to, I don't know what it's called, Cowboy Stadium?
No,
America Stadium. It's the same
no.
thing. Like it's just so. I'm a capitalist at heart. I think everybody deserves to make a profit. If you're in a business, people need
Yeah.
to get paid. But like every single square inch is monetized. It's like it's just too much. It's just over
That's
the
how
top.
Disney is.
Yeah.
Everything was monetized. Every little thing. I'm surprised you're not paying for bathrooms yet. It's only going to be a matter of time. I'm a Lambo guy, so I go to Lambo. It's like,
That's
going
old
to a high
school.
school
That's
game.
old school.
Yeah,
It's like baseball in Cuba. It's a democracy. It's like a people sport.
yeah. But everything at these sporting events, anywhere you go now, I mean, a beer is like $15. I think at Chicago Fire, we went to a soccer game. It was like $15 for a beer. Like you're going to see a soccer team. It's MLS. God damn it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of insane.
So at the base of Highlands in Aspen, there's four mountains in Aspen. There's
Okay.
Buttermilk, there's Snowmass, there's Highlands, and there's Aspen Mountain Ajax. At the base of Highlands, you can ski down and you can go to this outdoor bar, and there's still like a $5, $6 beer.
I got to go
That's
to
like
Aspen. Maybe that's why I would go with my wife because we were talking. Because next year, we'll be able to take the oldest is going to be 8, and then the second one's going to be 5. The oldest one's already skied with me. He learned how to ski. I paid for
so
that
fun.
stupid. Yeah, I paid like $500 for a whole day,
I don't do that.
skiing lesson. Yeah,
They
and
just
then
they just give them hot chocolate and
I
baby
know.
them. Well, they don't teach them how to
Listen,
ski.
we get
I
back
made
with my
that mistake.
buddies. Yeah, well, that's the mistake I didn't know. Come back with my buddies after a whole day, and the guy's like, "Oh, he's ready to go. And they're building a snowman.
He's
They're,
been
whatever.
shredding.
Yeah, he's so good. Next day we take him. The fucking kid is out to stand on his skis. I'm like, what did I just spend? It took him literally 3 hours with my buddies, and all of a sudden he's a ski pro.
Yeah.
Where I paid 500 with these guys. I'm like,
No, so ski school is babysitting so that you can go ski with your
correct.
buddies.
That's what it was.
I skied a great powder day with a buddy, and then I came back the next day and skied with my kids, and I found it. I love skiing, but I found it so much more fulfilling to ski with my kids on the bunny slopes. And I'll tell you, I had one that like is kind of timid in general. I've got twins that are 5, and one is like she'll do anything. She'll jump off of anything. She'll get into anything. She's just super adventurous. And the other's a little bit more timid. And I got her on the mountain, and she was clinging to me and just hiding behind me. And then I started feeding her gummy bears on the advice of my buddy. He's like, just feed her gummy bears. If you ski down, you get a gummy bear. If you ski down backwards, you get 2 gummy bears. If you jump over this little thing, you get 3 gummy bears. So she was just all into it. And I said to her the next day, like, what changed in your mindset where you stopped grabbing my hand and just started, telling me, Daddy, I'm going to lead, you follow. And she said the gummy bears.
Oh my God.
The whole secret is just keep feeding them sugar and they'll just keep going.
That's a good idea. For my 5-year-old's very timid. My 7 that's going to be 8 is wild. That one is hard to keep contained. So that one though, when we went skiing with my buddies, I was like, hey, you guys run down with him. I'll do my own thing. Because if I'm there, like when he saw me, he's like, Daddy. I'm like, nope, I'm out. Because he wanted, and my buddies were like, yeah, he wanted to be with me and just wanted my protection. So I'm like, if I go, that way he doesn't have like someone to lean on.
Totally.
He's just with my friends, and all of a sudden he learned how to ski. And then he was like, hey, I don't want to go home. We're like, well, it's 5:00. We can't walk. So it's not gonna work. Yeah.
That's so funny you say that, because we got to the mountain at like 10:00 with my kids. And my wife was like, I have a 1:00 call. I have to be out. And I said, you're totally mistaken. This is like a 1-hour deal max. And then by 3:00, I was still skiing with this girl. Like everybody else had peeled off and they were done. And I was like, wow, the endurance of this child. Great. She's having a great time.
Hey, are you guys still do au pairs? I think you told me you guys have an au pair.
No, my wife's, she's never been keen on having somebody live with us.
Okay. Okay.
We have help.
Okay.
Especially for the baby. But when I go on vacation, I mean, we generally have help, but
yeah,
like I clear my schedule and I'm just with the kids. I'm just like with the family. I don't, it gets to a point where you feel like, I'm in the house with my children, but I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not bathing them. I'm not, hanging out with them because I've got too much help. And it's like, I don't want to be that parent.
Yeah.
It's a challenge because parenting is like half loving your children and half wanting to murder them,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. Yesterday I was spanked my little guy because he was like, I just heard him downstairs. My wife was saying like, hey, let's take a bath. He's like, no. And right away that like boils like a vein in me when I hear that, like, like that nagging no. Yeah. So I like ran up and I spanked him. Do you just just dropped everything, cried, went, took his clothes off, went, took a bath. And then today we're like hugging and loving each other. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm like, you know, you were acting like an a-hole. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I don't yell unless you're.
We've gotten too soft as a society.
Yeah, not me. My neighbors can freaking hear me, Matt. I mean, I don't care.
I'm first of all, you don't need to smack your kids that many times for them to really like get the hint. It's like I don't think I've ever smacked my 3-year-old. I've never smacked my 1-year-old, obviously, but my 3-year-old I've never smacked. But she knows she doesn't want to get smacked. It's like Pavlov's dogs. She just knows. And so when the tone changes, she falls into line, even if she's having a meltdown because she doesn't want to get smacked. And so you don't have to do it much, and they respect you. Correct. The other thing is I love my dad. I love him. He was a great dad. I also feared my dad as a kid, and that's fine. Like they're not mutually exclusive. You can love your parents and also fear them and understand that as a young child, you either fall in line or you don't. Anyways, that's my rant. I feel like we've gotten way too soft and we like we don't smack our kids anymore. And you like, let's draw the line at abuse, but like you can give your kid a pouch. A hit on the tush.
Exactly right.
It's not like abuse. It's just
abuse is if I'm actually hitting you up like some kind of like weird, like cynical thing. But if I spank you or hit you in the ass or hit you like because you're acting like a dumbass, well, that's just me parenting. I got hit as a child. We all got hit as a child. I feared my mom because my dad would my dad was like that quiet, didn't say anything, and then he would just tell my mom, and then my mom would take his anger and her anger out on us, and I was like, oh, that's so sane. But my wife goes. She's like, I don't understand. The boys always want to be with you. They don't even want to come to bed with me. But you're the one that yell at. You're the like thing. I'm like, because if they respect you, if they feel you, they respect you. Right. And there's a mutual thing there.
Right.
I'm like, so
discipline and love are going on this. Discipline and love go hand in hand. Okay, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Parenting advice from Andy and Matt. The subject of the next podcast.
Start a new podcast show. Yeah, I know.
Hey, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. We did an episode 8 months ago and we talked a lot about, AllCity. We talked a lot about just insurance adjusting in general or public adjusting in general. Kind of the idea that an insurance company is in business to make money, to maximize profits for shareholders. And if they can undercut what they really should pay you according to you have all this language, endorsements and the policy itself, then they win at your expense. And so the idea is AllCity Adjusting will come in and will fight for you as a client to make sure that you get everything that's due. You and I have now spoken many, many times since that podcast. You've been introduced to a bunch of folks on our team and you've been working a number of claims. If anybody wants to go back and listen to the previous episode, it's on all of our websites. It's on YouTube. You can just Google Keyrenter AllCity Adjusting. You'll find it. It's very easy. And it's the primer on what public adjusting is. I want to get into kind of more detail today. I want to chat through a couple of examples where we have done really well for our clients and gotten them additional money that they deserved, and where we have failed, either because it was the wrong type of claim, we came in too late, and give some tips and tricks for our property managers and any clients that are, working with Keyrenter that really want to understand when we say to them, hey, we're going to send this over to AllCity, maybe this is a good primer for them, again, to understand kind of why we do that. And then we don't have to explain it directly every single time to many different clients. We can just pop them a podcast and share it with them. So let's start. I mean, where do you think we should start in terms of some examples of things that we've worked on? Or anything else, right?
Okay, so I have 3 jobs. If I could, I'll share my screen if you don't mind.
Sure,
if that's okay.
Can I do that?
I pulled up. I'll have to share mine, right?
Let me go to. I got to figure out how to do this. I feel like I've done enough of this that I probably should know how to do it, but I, of course, can't. Let's see.
You know who probably could do it? Your little kids, because these kids know everything. Exactly, it's unbelievable.
Exactly. Oh my God, I don't know how to do this.
Can't I just go into it and share my screen?
See if you can.
I can. Oh, you can request share.
Oh, share. There it is. Share screen options. Allow. There you go. Boom.
Okay, so let me share this, and then. All right. Can you see this? The AllCity, this estimate. All right, perfect.
Yep.
Let me actually. I pull it in here right in front of me. I can't move it. Okay, that's fine. All right. So here's this is an investor. This was in Middletown, Ohio. I had to block off their address. I wanted to kind of keep their information private, not that I don't think they would mind. But this was a fire. They called us. It's 4 gals that are big investors. They own a handful of properties. And this was one that caught on fire. They reached out to us right in the beginning. So they had a fire. One of the partners knew from someone that they used the PA. They had a very good experience. So they started looking. They found us, contacted us, had a meeting, and ended up signing a contract with us right from the beginning. So this one we worked from the beginning. It's a 4-unit building, 2 units downstairs and 2 units upstairs. The unit to the front right caught fire, and then the rest had smoke. This is an estimate we put. So we went there right away, put our estimate together, put all the documents, everything we did right from the beginning. And then we met with the adjuster from, this was State Farm. So this is our estimate. And I kind of want, because yesterday, on a meeting with some of your team members, I had a good question. And it was, well, why don't we just, why doesn't the contractor just do a bigger estimate or inflate his estimate and send it into us, to the insurance company, or just send, why would the contractors just not send their estimates or their highest estimates? Well, there's a reason. The insurance company wants you to send the contractor's estimate. But what they always do is respond to the client and say, hey, make sure your contractor breaks down his estimate. Right. I was a contractor. If you called me to do your bathroom or remodel your house, man, I'm not going to break down my estimate. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and I'm going to give you a total. There's no way I'm going to break down each thing. I'm a contractor, not an estimator, right?
Yeah.
So when we do our
the other thing on that, by the way, is that contractors, like what owners always do is they say, okay, your contract is $5,000. It's for doing the baseboard. It's for doing the vanity. It's for doing the tile work. I only want you to do the tile work. Pull out everything else. And you're like, well, I'm not going over there just to do the if you want me to just do the tile work, it's going to be twice as expensive. It's like, I'm already there. I'm doing the baseboard. I've got to go to Home Depot. I've spent time going to Home Depot. So I've divided everything by the, number of hours that I've been at Home Depot. I don't save a lot of money. So we get into that issue with owners in general, just like trying to peel apart estimates. And it's really painful because they don't understand that it's not like each thing is not a standalone deal. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And contractors are great, right? I was a contractor. Contractor is a contractor. We're just focused on doing work, making clients happy, do good work, find good people. Like there's already so much headaches in it that writing an estimate or breaking down an estimate penny by penny, that's definitely not in our scope.
Right.
So if you're looking at our scope, our scope, everything is itemized, right? Each item, what needs to be done. We could break this down even further, right? And you can see this is an estimate. Wow. And I'm scrolling. Yeah. This is how detailed it gets. Correct. 100%. Right. So this is how detailed it gets. The person that put this, our main estimator that for fires, well, he spent 20 years large loss estimating with farmers insurance.
And this is all Xactimate, right? I mean,
this is all Xactimate. We write in there. There's another software called Symbility that insurance companies use to. We do utilize that one, but this is kind of the main one.
Yeah.
So you could keep going. Wow. Just keeps going. So
I mean, it's 117 pages.
It just keeps, and this is small. I mean, we've done much bigger estimates. So this is, it just keeps going. I wanted to show this. This is the only one I did a full one, just kind of to see, so like your listeners can see kind of what happens and how detailed it gets.
Yeah.
But there's 91 pages. You could say without the first page, 90 pages estimate, itemized, right? So now what they want to do is now we can go through it with the adjuster and line item by line item say, hey, well, this we're not going to pay for. We don't agree with this, right? It's kind of how it works. So we did this estimate and then we met with the adjuster on site, right? So this claim we started working from the beginning, from right away.
Yeah.
Because the other one, I'll show you what happens when we come in the middle or something. So then the adjuster came out. Our estimate, this is $547,000. On this estimate, this probably should have been around $480 that we should have presented to them. There was stuff we included that they didn't have coverage for and stuff, but we threw it in anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, adjuster came out. We walked the property. I'll keep going. Keeps going, right? We even recap. Gets recapped by category. What's getting done. We have sketched the entire building. And so State Farm came out. We met with the adjuster. We agreed to everything. We agreed to pretty much everything. A couple small things, but then he sent us an estimate of $315, right? So he cut it by a lot, right? They took out a lot, which then we had to spend time now going through, but we already had the upper hand, right? Because he already took our estimate. He uploaded it to his system. He removed stuff he didn't agree with, or I don't know, we agreed with. So I don't know why he went to 315, but he sent this to us. It was kind of BS. We had to meet on site again, go through it, and then we got closer to 418, right? 383 plus another 34,000 for code. We were at 418, right?
Yep.
This client all in spent 285 on repairing this building. Loss of rents, we got loss of rents approved, meaning they were still collecting rents, right? So the building was getting fixed. We got them whatever they were charging rent every month for, I think, approved for 10 months, and they got this building fixed in 6. So they got 4 extra months of rents. Plus, they did really good on the construction.
So the natural question that an owner or a client would ask is it against the law to collect 418 and only pay 280?
No. So you're owed this money, right? What people don't understand is, of course, if they can offer you 200 and you accept it, then yes, they'll do it. But what you're owed is what you're owed. Hence, in that situation for the claim we have in St. Louis with you guys, for your management team, is same thing, right? The estimates and invoices were presented from the contractors before we put our estimate together.
Yeah.
And so if their invoices are 100, but our estimate is 130 that they should have paid, well, they'll pay those invoices because that was already done. That was estimated for. That was retail.
Yeah. So
people don't understand, like, what you're owed is what you're owed. If the insurance company can pay less, they will pay less.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. So here it is. It keeps continuing. So yeah, that's the total. This one is interesting. This one we got involved. This was 13 roofs in 13 buildings in Hudson, Wisconsin. They had a hailstorm. This was their offer of 2,250, but this was 13 buildings, right? So there's technically 13 buildings. So
at 220 at 2,250 yes. a piece. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what is that?
27,000.
Yeah, exactly. So right around there, right? They were paying to repair like 100 shingles on each building.
Yeah.
They didn't include metals. They didn't include a bunch of stuff. So if we were there from the beginning, right, we would have inspected it. We would have presented everything, the estimate, the damages, and this claim gets paid right away. And if it doesn't, on the second inspection or on the second thing, we could have gotten an engineer. Like, it would have went from taking a year and a half to settle to taking maybe 6 months or 5, right? And it would have been for a lot more. But either way, we got involved in maybe 5 months into the claim. This claim ended up selling, took a year and a half, went to appraisal. We had like 3 consultants on this. They brought in 3 consultants. I mean, they brought in everyone for this, to not pay this.
The insurance company did.
They did, yeah. That settled at $952, the replacement cost. Yeah.
So they offered 28, 29 to begin with, or whatever the math is, and they ended up paying $952.
100%. Yep, that's correct.
And if you guys had not have been involved, the person would have said, pulling their hair out in exasperation, would have said, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight them. They're offering this thing. We'll take what we can and we'll move on with our lives. And that's it.
Right. At 100%. Yep. And so when I spoke with the HOA and I asked the members, how do you guys feel, this award, and how do you guys feel with the settlement? They're in awe, right?
Yeah.
They said they would never expect anything close to this. So that's a great feeling. It took longer than we wanted to. But again, it's sometimes, if the insurance company can delay it for 2 years, they're going to delay it for as long as they can.
Sure. And what happened in the process? I know you said there were a bunch of consultants, the insurance company, they'll fight and fight and fight. But what's the actual process going through this to get to 952 from whatever we said, 28, 29?
Correct. So we went out there, we marked everything, right? We sent them all our documentation, estimate, everything. So they said they're going to bring in a consultant. They brought in a second consultant to meet with us on site. He met us on site, walked through, agreed to a lot of it. And then he submitted his findings to the insurance company. Well, I don't think they liked his findings because they were more in line with us. So they sent another engineer. Correct. So another consultant. Yeah. There you go. You know the game.
It's crazy that they can do that. I mean, as a buyer of a home, I don't have the ability most of the time to say, I don't like that appraisal. I want another appraisal. It's like, that was appraisal. It's a licensed appraiser. That's the appraisal you got.
I talked about that yesterday again in the call with your team. Is they'll bring in 10 consultants, 10 vendors, whoever they can, because they're not bringing them to help pay your claim or find more damage. It's more to support why they are not paying for it. And again, when they bring engineers, right? And let's say you look at 10 claims. I show you 10 of our claims, and it's the same engineering group. They use usually 2 to 3 different engineer groups, especially like Safe Farm, like AllState. They use the same ones. And if we look at the reports, literally 90% of the reports are the same, right? Your building had wear and tear, right?
Yeah.
The damage is old. It's not from this storm. They use the same language every time, always. And again, when you call these engineering companies and say, "Hey, will you guys write a report for us?" "Oh no, we only write for these insurance companies." Why? I thought you guys are independent. You guys can write for anyone. Why? Of course they only write for the insurance companies. It's who gives them 100% of their business.
Yeah. Will they give you access after they said, "I don't like the first report, I'm getting another engineer to do another report"? Are they forced somehow to give you access to the first report?
So we always ask for the report, right? Some insurance companies are very like the next claim I'm going to talk to you about. They didn't send us the entire report, and I actually knew the engineering firm, and I knew the engineer very well. So he told me, and we talked on site. It was actually pretty funny. But when the adjuster said, I don't know what the problem was with the adjuster, but he sent us he just nitpicked 3 sentences.
Yeah.
He didn't send us the whole report, just kind of what he wanted us to see. They're supposed to share the whole report.
They're supposed to, but they're not legally mandated.
No, they could. It's wild west. They do what they want until someone calls them out on it. So
yeah.
So this one ended up at 952. The next one is wanted to say something on the smaller side. This is this was with Nationwide. There was a big hailstorm last year in Orland, Illinois. A big client of ours, now Property Holdings. They're great. And this was actually their own building that they use, and it suffered. This was damage. They estimated 11. So they brought in. Yeah. They didn't even send out an engineer. They sent these companies out to do just photographs for them.
Yeah.
And they came out, took photos, and sent this 11,000 after we already sent them our estimate for 70 something thousand. They dragged this on for a good year, almost a whole year. They dragged this on until we ended up sending an email to the CEO of Nationwide for CEO, CFO, literally just 10 hires. The next day we got an apology letter. The day after that, we got an email from some main their claims adjuster, whoever he is. And basically pretty much he was like 95% of our estimate, 5% some stuff. We said, okay, we're good. And that estimate that settled at 61,919. Yeah.
Wow.
So we had to go drastic measure. And that was right from the beginning too, right? So every claim is so different. It's hard to say how long a claim is going to take. Now they were okay. Our client was, this was exterior damage. So they weren't in a hurry, right? It's different when it's interior and you have people there or something. This was exterior. So they're like, hey, it could take on a year. We just want to make sure it gets settled and we get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you, if it takes a year to settle, does that mean you cannot start the work, or was by the time this thing is done, you've already finished the exterior renovation?
No. Really you can't. We always advise our clients, hey, don't do anything till we get something on paper.
Yeah.
Because if you cover up, let's say you just did all the repairs and then they want to do a reinspection or they want to send another consultant, well, all the repairs are done. So now we're just going through photos. It makes the job much difficult.
Yeah.
So, that's why we try to push and we try to get all the documentation right up front and get it, again, goal is always to settle as quickly as possible, but you want the fairest, you want the right amount and you want what's owed to the client. So
what happens? In an ideal scenario, a client asks for 11, gets 61 plus lost rent, plus whatever in an interior claim. If you don't get as much, I'm just thinking about it from an owner's perspective where they're like, if this goes on for a year, I've lost, let's just take one single family. I've lost $2,000 of rent for a year. That's $2,400. It's a risk from my side to delay it, to allow the delay to occur and for me not to get this thing up and running and somebody back renting it. What do you say to those people?
Yeah, 100%. Well, every landlord or rental policy has rental income or business loss. So they're going to be claimed. So even if it takes a year, that's why we love working with landlords and management companies because they're claiming business income. So even if it takes a year, they're getting money, right? That claim is getting paid. They're getting paid. And then once it's settled, that rent's going to continue until they do the repairs and find the tenant.
Yeah.
So they're going to be collecting every month. And sometimes, like I said, we always request it as much as upfront as we can. If we can get 6 months upfront, 8 months of loss of rents upfront, we will get as much as we can up front. So even if we get to settle right like quickly, and the contract and the owner does the repairs really quickly, hey, we got them that up front. They're still able to claim that money.
Let me ask you this: if you have 20 houses with State Farm, and you take 3, 4, 5 losses in a year or 2 years, they're going to drop you, right? I mean, they're just generally going to drop you from insurance. Does it matter if you only have one claim for 20 properties? They're less likely to drop you. But does it matter whether they pay out 11,000 or 61,000 in terms of the calculus that they make as to your risk as a client?
So that's more of an underwriting question. But we have a management. They're owners and they self-manage, and they have, I mean, at least over 100 just condo single properties here in Chicago. And I mean, they have like 5 claims a year, and they're with State Farm, and they have not been dropped.
Wow.
And then we have clients that have one claim, but it's small, big, and they get dropped. So it honestly depends. There's really no, that's behind closed doors. That's underwriting. That's all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't see that, but they can't legally, they're not supposed to drop you because of just having a claim. Right, they'll give you a reason. They're just not renewing. What they do is they don't cancel you. They just don't renew your policy. That's happening. We have a rental. We have an older rental. It's about 100 years old. It's like an historic district, and we were with Hartford for 4 or 5 years. And then this year they said that we're not renewing. We've never had a claim with them. Nothing. High premiums we paid for good coverage, and they just didn't renew us.
Wow.
So they just said they don't want to do buildings. They said again, when a building's so many age, like old,
sure,
they just don't want to insure.
The risk is too great.
The risk is too great. Yeah.
Yeah. So with between AllCity and Keyrenter, I know we've done at least proposed a number of projects to you, and you've taken some of them, and then you've said to others you're too late in the game. When can you? And yet, when you were displaying that screen share, you said some of them you got into 5 months after the fact. Like what are the criteria for failure? What didn't happen in that 5-month scenario that did happen when we brought you something where you said, like, I don't know, maybe it's you already agreed to a settlement, you already said too much. I mean, what actually happens that prevents you guys from getting involved?
Yeah, so we have to bring value, just like Keyrenter, like your management company, like you have to bring value, right? You bring value to your client. That's why they hire you. So if we look at a claim and we can't bring any value to this claim, then there's no reason. Like we have to know it's still somewhere in the process that we'll be able to bring value to our client.
Yeah.
So like, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had a lady called, she's out of state, owns a property here in Indiana. And she said it's been 3 months, and State Farm hasn't responded to her. I said, okay, that's kind of weird. State Farm hasn't responded. She said, yeah, they sent the vendor out. They gutted the entire house. She had a water pipe, damaged the entire house. She said they signed the work authorization, because what these vendors do, they never give you an estimate, right? They just say, hey, sign this work authorization, man. We're going to do all this work. We're going to build the insurance. They'll pay us. Great. And you're thinking, great. I don't have nothing to worry about. They're going to get paid. But what happens when the insurance doesn't pay for the claim?
They come after you.
Who pays for that $50,000 bill?
Yeah.
You. Because it says there, if the insurance doesn't pay it, you owe that money, because technically you're their client, not the insurance company. It's very slick. So this lady called. She's got this $50,000 bill, and she says 3 months. She hasn't heard from the adjuster, like nothing. I said, you haven't got a letter, nothing? She said, no. I said, interesting. I'm like, I think I know what's going on. She's like, and that first thing I asked, I said, do you have a plumber report? She said, yeah, of course. Can you send it to me? So she sends it to me. I started reading the plumber report, and as soon as I read the plumber report, I said, this is pretty simple. They're going to send you a denial. They just haven't sent it yet. She said, why? Well, because your plumber said that the water, the reason for that pipe break or whatever happened, I forgot, that the toilet was old, or it was old, and then just from wear and tear. He used the word wear and tear.
Yeah, that's terrible. The correct word is sudden and unexpected.
Looking at a week later, like days later, she reached out and she got that letter, the denial letter for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, people are like, well, why would I call you right from the beginning? That's the whole reason. Because I would have got that letter. I would have made sure the plumber writes it the right way. And again, we're not trying, what PBAs do, right? Like what we do, we're not inflating any numbers. We're not making up stuff. It's, we're just wording it the right way. You use the word wear and tear. If you use that word, just like you use the word mold, those are words that don't get covered. But if he said it was a pipe break, there's no reason to say everything's goddamn old, man. If you look at my house, everything's old, right? Like 10, 15 years. Yeah, it's wear and tear. It's normal.
Yeah.
But if you use that in your report, it's gonna get a red flag. And now the lady got denied. Now she's stuck with a $50,000 bill, and her house is gutted. And that was one of, I think, Marissa, your teammate, or one of your team members that called. It was a claim like that where the vendor was just doing all this work, and they were like almost done with it. And I'm like, hey, the only concern here is if because it was a kind of iffy. I'm like, hey, if they don't pay, or if insurance says, hey, we're not going to pay their bill or not pay it full, then the insured stuck with it because he never got an estimate. He just signed his workout. Yeah. So that's when, so claims, so that lady, we couldn't get involved. It was too late. There was nothing we could do now, the plumber report. In some instances, all the work has been done, or the repairs are like almost done or halfway. So it's too late for us to get involved because we have no proof to go after anything.
Yeah. You guys work with a lot of restoration companies?
We do. We have a great relationship with restoration companies. So we use a lot of them because there's a great, you need restoration companies. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Our biggest thing is there's a right way. There's a time to use them and a time not to use them. When we have a lady with a $10,000 limit in her basement for sewer backup, and the mitigation company wants to charge $1,200 to suck out water when she's got a drain in her garden unit. I talked about this yesterday. And literally, they're saying they're going to charge her $1,500 to squeegee water into her drain. And I said, and I asked her, I'm like, is the water going down? She's like, yeah, it's almost down. There's just a little wet spots. I'm like, so they're going to come $1,500 to rag? I'll come for $1,500 rag. Yeah. You only have a $10,000 limit. Do not let them put any fans, because if they put fans and they dry out, you're going to max out
$400 a day per fan.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. So she ended up listening to me, got a contractor, got a retail estimate. He was able to do the repairs for close to $10,000. Boom, perfect. She's just happy. She's like, oh my, I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. She's like, well, I still want to pay you. I'm like, there's no reason to pay me. You didn't need my help.
Yeah.
I didn't, so I was just able to kind of advise her over a few days of how to help her. And that's why I was telling your team, we bring value. We want to take a look at a claim before. So if we're not needed, or the client doesn't need a contractor or doesn't meet their deductible, we'll advise them. So they are in the best position when all is said and done.
I just think what is the exact right time to send you guys include you in the mix? Because we might just get a work order. It doesn't always come through the emergency line. If it comes through the emergency line, it's 2 a.m. and somebody says, hey, my house is flooding. Okay, we know it's going to be a claim. That can go to you immediately. But if it's something that comes on a Tuesday afternoon and it's just a work order that comes through our system, and we don't know the extent of the damage until we get out there and we've sent a vendor, we may start shop vacuuming up water kind of immediately. And we may not think to get you guys involved from the very beginning. What are the triggers? What are the key things that we should be looking for to know, okay, we need to get AllCity involved in this?
The best is documentation. So whoever's going out there, even if they're going to shop vac, mitigate, you just want to make sure they're taking photos, right? Photograph everything, videotape, and that way in the morning they can reach out and say, hey, Andy, or Ashley, Tiffany, our team, hey, look at this, AllCity. Is this a claim? Should the insured file it? We just sucked out the water. Is it worth? We can look at the photos, look at the policy, and right away say, yes, file it, or hey, don't file it. This is $2,000 worth of damage. Yeah. It's better that he doesn't put this on his record.
Yeah.
So we can get right away. We want to take a look at it, but it's just photographing. Whoever's going there is photographing, making sure they're photographing it. But we're available all the time. I mean, if you call us at 2 a.m., most likely someone's going to answer.
Yeah. What's the number that somebody would call if they have a midnight emergency?
Yeah. Our 844 number. It's 844 my adjuster. It's 844-692. I forgot the last 4 ending, but it's 844 my adjuster. Cool. If they call that, Melissa here that answers our phones is 24/7.
What else should we be kind of highlighting for people that maybe are new to the game? I mean, we're even new to the game. I just did not realize, and I told you this earlier, I just did not realize how valuable of a service this is to our owners. And we've been operating for so many years without providing a level of service to our owners that I think they deserve, where we'd say, okay, the insurance said it's worth $10,000. Here's your $10,000 check. It may have cost us $8 to do, or it may have cost us $14 to do, but it's we didn't know that this existed. And so meeting you 8 months ago was really to me, a game changer in terms of how well we can serve our clients. I'm always looking for better ways to serve our clients, right? Bumping rent is one way. Limiting the damage that a tenant does to a property and the cost of a make ready is another way. But like getting them max dollars for an insurance claim when it invariably happens, which sucks, but it's going to happen eventually if you own rental properties, is a critical way of really serving our clients. So I've been kind of bummed that we haven't been doing this for the last 8 years, frankly. But, is there anything else that our property managers, that our owners should know about this process, about working with AllCity, about anything else, the insider tips and tricks with, that insurance companies try to pull to avoid paying that I haven't asked?
Yeah. No, I would say time is of the essence in terms of making sure you get, again, whether it's AllCity or you were to hire another legit public adjusting company that handles like interior large loss claims, right? Not a storm chasers, which a lot, like 90% of PAs are.
Yeah.
The quicker you get us involved, the quicker we can make sure we dictate, we present the claim the right way.
Yeah.
Because the mistake that people do, right, and not because they're trying to harm the client or what we say. People talk too much, say the wrong terms, right? There's terms that you use with insurance companies that aren't covered, like mold, right? Mold's not covered. Like we just talked about wear and tear. Stuff that's not covered, and people say, hey, it was old, it broke, and it caused damage to my building. Right away, that's going to, hey, investigate,
Sure.
Say it was old. Hey, we don't cover old.
Sure.
So, it's getting us involved right away. And then the second thing is, saying if you do file on your own or you're trying to work the claim on your own, is say as little as possible. And then third would be, it's definitely a journey with claims, right? It's not like an overnight. If you think, hey, even if you just don't use a PA and you use a vendor, like it takes time. The claim takes time, and the insurance companies, it's better they want to delay, they want to push this claim as long
Sure.
as they can.
Sure.
It's just, even with the one in St. Louis, that State Farm adjuster for 4 weeks said he was setting his estimate, that he was done with his estimate, that he was sending it in for 4 weeks. I mean, we have this in emails. We didn't delay it. Every day, Ashley was on him every day or every other day, calling, emailing. Every day for 4 weeks. I'm almost done. I'm done. 4 weeks. And so think about it, if we weren't on him every day, this might be 3 months to get it. And then you guys already spent all the money on all these repairs.
Sure. Do you get the sense that that's like that directive comes from on high, where somebody says like, you're a great adjuster for us because you always delay, you always push out? Or is it that he's got 40 cases that he's working at the moment and it literally just took him a month to get that document, that estimate document over to you?
40 cases. That's why. I know these. When we do a large loss, we deal with a lot of the same adjusters, and when they're just so overloaded with claims. I mean, they get 3-4 fires a day, or these large. How can you do that? There's no way. It's to put one good fire, one good job. It takes a solid day, 2 days, like to put something together. And you get 4, and if you fall behind, then you're not answering phone calls and you're not responding to emails. It's all bad faith. But again, no one's calling them out. The only way to call them out is we do write letters to the Department of Insurance, but even the Department of Insurance really doesn't do anything about it. It'd have to be from an attorney saying, hey, if you don't like act in good faith, like we'll just go to litigation. That could work something. But attorneys now charging 33%, 40%.
Sure. The other thing you mentioned on the first podcast that was super interesting was once AllCity gets involved, our property managers or any third-party client, if they were contracting with you directly, should avoid speaking directly to the adjuster. That the adjuster's going to call you, they're going to try to go around AllCity, they're going to try to get you to slip up and say something like, yeah, that toilet is, it's been wobbling for years, or whatever it would be in that case of the broken, toilet line. So is it best for our property managers to just direct every phone call? They say, hi, this is, Billy over at State Farm, I'm the adjuster. Do they cut them off immediately and say, we've already hired AllCity, I'd prefer that you go talk to Ashley?
Yeah, that's 100% how it's supposed to be. Now, they know once we're hired, they're not supposed to call, whether it's a management company or the home, the investor themselves. Yeah, they're insured. They're supposed to call us. But they always, in the beginning, what they do is they try to get to the insured and try getting more details, and they always do that. And then when it comes to the end, and the client, then we're like, hey, well, this part of the claim we're not handling for you. Or he's like, I just want to call the adjuster and ask him a question. And that's when the adjuster's like, well, you got a PA. We can't talk to you. Oh, so it's funny. Now, when the insured actually wants to handle them, you can't talk to them. But in the beginning, you were able to talk to anyone, on the team.
Yeah.
It's always the same.
Funny. It also reminds me that... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying that, we always tell our clients, hey, if anyone calls you from the insurance company, don't answer. And if you do answer, tell them to call us. There's no reason they should be calling you. Everything goes through us. They have questions about coverage. They have questions about what Matt did with this property before, what he's been doing at this property. We'll find out with Matt. We'll get a story and we'll let you know.
Yeah. It makes me think, though, that we should have, first of all, the system is broken, obviously. If it requires third-party intervention, the system is broken. But it reminds me of like our healthcare coverage. We should have, as clients of, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, whatever, we should have a client representative that's battling the insurance company for us to do the same thing. I mean, it's just a crazy system, and I don't know anything about it. I was talking to a doctor the other day who was just explaining that he has 2 full-time people that just deal with insurance from the doctor's office to the insurance company. But as the insured, whether the insurance company denies it or whatever, it just goes back to the client to pay, to the patient to pay. Like, we need a public adjuster for health insurance as well in the end.
My wife does, she was a medical coding and did all that in medical. So it's funny because her job was she used to have to find coverage for the hospital to get claims. Her job was to find terms and like stuff to classify the surgery or the procedure so that the insurance would pay for it. And now that we're at home, I had some, what did I have done? An x-ray or something? Yeah, what I had done, that they sent us a bill for a lot of money that should have been, paid by the insurance. So now she's like fighting, and she's doing exactly what I do for property, for our own, health. It's
what a waste of time.
It's wild. It's wild. So the system is broken. Again, when we tell people like they're in a business, they're a business, right? Yeah. I can't be. No one should be upset that you have to hire a PA. That this is how the claim process works. They're a business, and they figured out how to make more and more money. That's why AllCity becomes more wealthier. They're paying their shareholders more. It's okay. It's fine. And unfortunately, that's just. It's good for our business. But they are in a business and they're looking to make money. They have shareholders to impress, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So. Andy Gurczak is the founder of AllCity Adjusting, a licensed public adjusting firm with a focus on making sure their clients get what they truly deserve from their insurance claims. Over the last decade, Andy's not only protected thousands of people from being defrauded, but he's also helped them receive more money than what their insurance initially offered. He grew up with the family motto, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all. And he carries that sentiment forward into his business now. If you want to find out more about Andy, visit allcityadjusting.com. And you referenced the 844 number, I think, earlier in the show. So we'll put that in the show notes as well.
I'll leave, if your listeners want to reach out to me directly, if they have questions like regarding policy, coverages, anything, even claims, they can reach me directly. I leave my, for the podcast, I always leave my cell phone. So it's 708-655-4186. Anytime they want to reach with a question, I'm more than happy to help.
Love it. Andy, thanks for being on again. I appreciate the additional detail.
Matt, thank you so much again for having me.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Same Day Podcast. Tune in to a new show each week and be sure to subscribe to get future episodes.